Hey there! Today we're going to have a look at this pen, the Pelikan Souverän M815. Metal stripe in it. The metal striped pen. How fancy is that? I'm going to cover the parts of the pen. I'll do a writing sample. I'll tell you what I like about it and what I don't like about it. Let's get started. Alright, the Pelikan Souverän M815 metal striped, a new Pelikan. Very interesting because usually they're all resin, but this one is resin with palladium plated strips of brass. Very interesting because it kind of emphasizes the stripes of classic Pelikans. Interesting pen. I'll show you the pen in a second. Just for now, the box has this cardboard outer sleeve. Then we have a little booklet. It comes with the pen, nib, grades, filling instructions, etc. Then we have the box, which really ties in with the theme of the pen with these stripes there. The box is closed by magnet, has the little thing that goes on the clip and the pen sleeve. I don't think there's anything under there, so let's just leave that. The actual pen, next to a Lamy Safari, and as you can see, not that much difference in size. Okay, so the rings, the clip, are palladium plated, very nice, shiny, silvery metal. Nibs available are fine, medium, broad, and also an extra fine, for which you now have to pay extra. Interesting because there is less tipping on it, but you pay an extra of €63.22. I really wish companies would not do that. But then there is that. So there is this option. This pen was lent to me by Appelboom Pen. Don't forget, you can get a 10% discount there if you use my discount code. Check out my website for that. Pricing. I currently see it on Appelboom for €433.88, but that's marked down from €630, so it is by no means a very cheap pen, right? Let's cover the parts of the pen. I'll tell you what I like about it, what I don't like about it. Let me zoom in a little bit for you. So, top of the cap, you have, of course, the Pelikan logo, the clip with the stylized head of the Pelikan and the bill, cap, and of course here we have these metal stripes. A little hard to capture, but brass stripes with palladium. And of course, I know some people are going to ask, does it feel heavier than a regular M800? Answer, yes, it actually does. You do feel a difference, at least I do. Barrel, piston turning knob, piston filled pen. The whole pen, sorry, the cap unscrews. You do have a ink window here. Right now it's pretty full, so I don't know how well you can see this, but you can actually use that. I like that ink window, always useful in a piston filler because you cannot easily unscrew the section. Look at the converter. Threads. Section is not massive. I mean, it's not a huge section. Tapers down a little bit, flares out a little bit, and here you have a ring which I assume is also palladium coated. And then we have the nib. This is a fine nib. It is 18K, which is rather nice. And of course, one of the benefits of these nibs on the many of the Pelikans is they very easily unscrew. So if you have another M800 with another nib grade, you can very easily swap them out, which I've always really enjoyed. Another advantage of that is you can unscrew this and put some silicone grease on the barrel if you need to grease up the piston a bit. Rather a nice size, and being a Pelikan, you can actually post this, and then you have a really nicely sized pen. And the M800 is one of those pen sizes that a lot of people really seem to like. A bit larger, but not too excessively large. Let me try to zoom out there, and then let's do a writing sample. And I'm just diving straight in there. Ink is Visconti purple. The nib is fine, 18K. I should write it down, shouldn't I? Pelikan M815 metal striped. Bit fast writing, not legible, just fast. And the nib keeps up really well, which is very nice to see. As to wetness, Visconti Purple, not the wettest ink in the world, but I also have the feeling this is not the wettest nib in the world. Line variation, as always, very, very careful. You can get a little bit out of it, but I wouldn't take this too far. It's a pretty stiff nib. It's also not advertised as being a flex nib. A lot of people overestimate this. They also think that all M1000s are flex nibs. They are not. They're not advertised as such. They're not meant to be flexed. Alright, the fact that something is soft doesn't mean you need to flex it. Reverse writing. It is possible the pen does run dry a little bit, but as I said, it is not the wettest writer to begin with. And there you have it. So, let's see what I like about the pen and what I not like about the pen. Okay, what do I like, what do I not like about the Pelikan Souverän M815 metal striped? There's a lot of things to like. It's a Pelikan, it's a very classy pen. The M800 model, the M1000, all those Souverän pens I think look very classic and very classy, which is very neat. It's heavier than the regular lineup because of those brass strips. You do feel that weight, and that makes the pen feel very solid, which is kind of nice. Piston-filled pen, that's always cool, holds a nice amount of ink, has an ink window, ticks all the boxes, which is very nice. In this particular pen, the nib is quite pleasant too, which is great. Some Pelikan nibs I found to be over-polished a bit, but this one seems to be very pleasant. It is a fine, no issues, writes really nicely, so that I really enjoy. By no means is it a cheap pen. I have seen prices online that range all the way up to 765 euros, which is a lot. As I said, Appelboom right now, as I'm shooting this is the end of November 2018, I saw it online there for 433 euros and 88 cents. That's excluding the 21% VAT. Some of my European friends have to add 21% to that, which again does not, that means this is not a very inexpensive pen. It's quite expensive actually. So there is that. The price is high. It is a special edition, which I am assuming means it's limited production. It's not numbered, but they will start producing this model at some point, I assume. So if you want one, you'll have to get it now. That may also increase the price a bit, and the metal is interesting. It does make the pen a little top heavy. So when you are writing with it, you do feel it kind of weigh you down a little bit, but on the other hand, that makes the pen rather solid. If possible, I would try out this pen before you buy it, especially if you don't really like heavier pens, because this does really feel different from a regular M800. You do feel that metal. So if a light pen is what you want, this may not be your best option. Okay, the bottom line, it's not cheap, but it's a well-made pen that writes nicely, that feels nicely, and that performs nicely. Piston-filled, 18-karat nib, that's all pretty cool. Reasonable nib options too, fine, medium, broad, so you don't have to pay extra for any of those options. And then of course if you want an extra fine, you pay extra, which again, I find a little strange, but that is just Pelikan policy. And that's all I have to say about this. A very kind thank you to Appelboom for lending me the pen. I appreciate it. Guys, I hope this was useful, and I'll gladly see you later. Bye bye.